So for me, as a parent, I really loved interacting with my kids when it came to things that were, I don't know, momentous or beautiful. I'll never forget when it would snow, and I would hope other parents, in our neighborhood would get out and play with their kids in the snow, and no one ever did. But I was the one out there having snowball fights with the kids, and they loved it, quite frankly. All the kids in the neighborhood used to love that. And I was the parent, who'd go out there and throw the football with the kids, or play basketball with them, or horse, or around the world, or, whatever it was. I mean, that's the kind of parent I always wanted to be, and I always wanted to be involved in my kids' life. And I was the parent, when they were little, who would sit out front, if I get my little lawn chair and sit out front and watch them, just to make sure that they were behaving, but also that no one would, come up to my kids or steal them, or, I was not an overprotective parent. I was just a very involved parent, and my time was never, I didn't want my time just to be mine. I wanted my time to be spent with my children as much as possible, and my children loved that. And Troy would always come running in the house. Mom, are you going to come out with us? Mom, or Connor would, both of them would come running in the house. Mom, are you going to come out with us? And it was so sweet that at that age, most kids don't want to be around their parents. They want to kind of pull away from their parents and get their own identity. But my kids, we really enjoyed being together, and I think that's why losing Connor is hard. There's just so many reasons why losing him is hard. I'm glad I gave him those amazing memories, because those are memories I'm going to cherish forever. Getting back to fourth grade, I think a thing that was very difficult for Connor was his fourth grade teacher. I won't name her name, but she was not, she did not handle him in a way that she could have to help him thrive and to understand what was going on with him emotionally. She kind of chastised him and reprimanded him, and said things to him in class that made him doubt himself. And I'll never forget, one day he came home from school and he was crying, and I asked him, I said, "Why are you crying?" And he says, "Mom," and my son was a very adamant type of a child. He would not let something go if he believed in it. And so I knew that was his personality, so I knew I needed to be patient with him. I always told him he would make a good attorney, because he was one of these people just would not let it go. He would be on top of it till he made it clear that he was heard. And that was actually a dream of his at one point, but he never pursued it. But he came home and crying and saying, "Mom, Mom, Mom." And I said, "What, son?" And he said, "It must be a lie about how good I was at Running Springs." And Running Springs is the elementary school he went to in California when we lived in Anaheim Hills. About my grades, he said. The lie was about his grades. And I said, "What are you talking about, son?" He said, "There's no way that I was a good student, Mom. There's just no way." And I said, "What?" I said, "Connor, where is this coming from?" And he mentioned the teacher's name, who is his teacher. And he says, she said to the whole class today that there's no way that I was a straight A student, based on obviously what was going on in the class that day. And I looked at him and I said, "Son, you need to tell me what she said again." And he told me, and I was like, "What?" In my mind, I'm saying, "What?" I didn't say "what" to my son like that, but in my mind, because I believe as a parent, there's certain things you don't say to your children. You need to shield your children as much as possible from the adult responsibilities of life and the adult problems of life. So the what was in my head. And he was just so convinced he was a horrible student. And I said, "Son, he says, "You've got to get me my report card. You've got to get me my report card." And I said, "Just give me a minute, son. I'll go find it." And so we went up and we found it, and I pulled it out and I showed him his report card, and he had all A's. And I said, "Connor," and then he looked at me and he says, I can't remember his teacher in third grade, but he says, "She must have been lying about my grades." And I said, "Son, No one lied about your grades, sweetheart. Teachers don't lie about grades. If that was the case, she would go to jail. And he just was almost hysterical. And so obviously this teacher at school must have done a number to him, which as a parent, I was not happy, but I was not going to let him know that, because I didn't want him going to school being a smart aleck or smart ass with her. Again, this was an adult issue that I needed to handle as an adult, but I didn't need to burden my child with an adult issue, if that makes sense. So, I just convinced him that what she said to him must have been misinterpreted. He got it wrong. It's not what she meant, that he's a wonderful student. But in the back of my mind, I knew I needed to talk to my husband when he got home from work. And he came home from work, and I talked about it, and he says, maybe we need to call a parent-teacher conference with them and with the teacher. And this wasn't the first incident we had with her. There were a couple other incidences where we felt that she was not being a supportive teacher, especially with a child who was struggling so much with school. So I did call a parent-teaching conference with her, and I also requested that the principal sit in on the conference. And so we actually met in the principal's office with the teacher, and I looked at her and I told her, how dare you say these things? She didn't deny it. And I had a few choice words for her, and I said, here's the thing, I'm not sure what would give you the right to talk to a child that way and reprimand them in front of his peers, because to me, you're only setting him back when he's making progress. But my big issue was, if she didn't have this need and passion, to me, teachers who teach usually have a passion for, they love kids, and their passion is to help teach and learn, So my issue was, if you didn't have that passion, and you didn't have the nurturing side of you for this age group, I basically told her, you need to be teaching up at the high school where the kids really don't give a crap about what you think. But to me, in elementary school is the most pivotal time for young kids, because it's really make or break. There's a lot of children who come to school who are coming from abusive homes, who are coming from homes where there's addictions, where we can go on and on. But for me, I knew what I went through as a child, and for me, elementary school was my safe haven. That was my place where I felt safe. I knew my teachers loved me. Now, I'm not saying Connor needed to feel safe, because obviously he had safety at home, but he still should have had the right to be able to go to school and have this teacher kind of nurture his soul a little bit, instead of putting him down and making him feel less than. And so I had a big issue with that. And I called her out on it. I says, listen, to me at this level, when you're at this elementary level, these children are impressionable. These children need to know that you truly love and care about them. I'm not saying you have to be his best friend, but you have to show a little bit of a nurturing side. And so that's when I told her, I says, you need to go teach at the high school level. Well, needless to say, she got fired the next year. So for whatever, I don't know if it had anything to do with me, but I did tell her, if this didn't change and my son didn't start coming home happy from school, I would be going to the school board. So I made that very clear between her and the principal, and I held the principal accountable too. I said, this is not okay. My son, number one, should not be coming home crying and almost hysterical and saying he's been made fun of and reprimanded in front of the whole class. That's just not okay on any level. And so I kind of looked at her and I said, if he doesn't come home from school every day with a happy smile on his face, then we're going to have an issue. And that next day, boy, things changed. He started coming home happy, and he started coming home feeling confident and feeling good about himself. So yes, that first year was very difficult for him, but then he found his stride, and he made a lot of friends, and he was involved in things. He created a little a little club that we, him and I came up with together. It's called the Kids Care Club, and he would raise money and give it to different charities. And one of the charities he gave it to was Oprah's Angel Network. I don't know if people are familiar with that, when Oprah, when she had her show. And he was actually honored by the city of Flower Mound, by the mayor, for being one of the most amazing kids in town, something to that sort. I think I have that award somewhere. And so it was a huge honor for him, and Connor felt very, very empowered. But I've always made my kids, let them know that there's nothing that they can't do, and put their minds and imagination to work, and to think of ways to help others. Because I think that's what we're really called upon to do. It's our life and our journey on this earth is not just about ourselves, it's about what we can do to help each other and to make this world a more beautiful place. So for Connor, I really always wanted him to understand the importance, that his life was truly important, but it wasn't just about him. It was about him and what he does to affect other lives, and in a positive way. Never in a negative way. My kids knew there were a couple words that we didn't like that we used in the house. One of them was hate. That was a word I strongly told both my boys we were not going to use in this home. I don't think hate is a word that should ever be used. I think dislike is completely appropriate. Can't is a word we never used, because I believe you can do anything if you put your mind to it. And so, I really instilled with both my boys, but because Connor was older, I was really focusing on him creating such a beautiful heart, because I think that's the substance of a person, to me, is what really matters. People don't really think about those things, but it really truly is. The substance of who you are, and how you handle yourself, and how you treat others. And it's just the little things, like when I go through the drive-thru at McDonald's, or any drive-thru, or to the dry cleaners, or to the grocery store, my children would tell everybody, my mom treats everybody with so much kindness. That's who I am. I'm, I just think you should be so thankful. Even if someone